Now are you putting them in order? I mean, I didn't have plans to do that, but do you want me to order them? I could put like left is the best and then going away to the right. Right, looking at the very bottom tier, we'll start at the bottom. Out of all these guys, I think if I was gonna put one of them, like if one of them is gonna be up a tier more than others, it would probably be Turbo. I think he would probably have to be the highest here, the highest of the C's. I would probably put Rani ahead of Sathu. I think I would put Lion Blaze farthest on the right, actually. No, actually, I would put Ahmad farthest on the right, because he barely squeaked in here just because he's a high ping player and he still does well. Then I'd probably put Lion Blaze. Then probably Jesse. And then maybe like this. I think it would probably be like this. That would be how I'd order the C tier. Left to right being best to worst for matchups. Historically, right. For the next one. Okay, the next one's actually pretty difficult. But yeah, although Sharif beat Rettle, he's head to head ahead. He's beaten Rettles twice, Rettles has beaten once. I think I'd still put Rettles above him because he's done better in 1v1 tournaments. Monkey Moon I'd probably put to the right of both of them. Forky's looked impressive. He's like almost a C. Just not quite good enough in 1v1 tournaments. But yeah, he's definitely looked pretty solid. What order would this one be in? This is a tough one. I think Sebadam would probably be like down here with Rettles and Sharif. Actually, no, I'm going to put Monkey Moon ahead of Sebadam, I think. I think the car has to go ahead of Forky just because he's done so much better than him in 1v1 tournaments. Although like on stream, Forky's probably done a bit better. Yeah, I'll do it like this. This is my next tier in order. There you go. I'd probably do it like this. I can't get this to stop snapping up in the wrong position. Right, next one. Com is probably the newest player to this one, so I'd probably put him quite low. Ooh, who would I give the edge in the Bluey Alpha? That's tough. Probably Bluey, actually. Because Alpha's probably got more potential, but I think Bluey has just done more. He's had more of an impact. I think out of these guys, Taroko's probably the most likely to move up. The only thing that kept him from moving up is the fact that both Mektos and First Killer are players he has horrendous records against, so he has to go lower than them. And then it would probably be Bluey edging Alpha for the next spot. Oh no, I've moved the entire list. What have I done? There we go. Bluey would probably edge Alpha for third in this one. Then probably Maestro, AJ, Com. I'll do it like this. Alright. Whereas Gambit, there's just not enough evidence of Gambit, like competitive evidence. Gambit was a scary player. People didn't want to play him in ranked and in private matches, but I'm not taking those two things into consideration because private matches and ranked have rarely been a reliable indicator of competitive. So I can't really use those, you know? It would just be way too much guesswork if you don't use actual results as like the main thing to make your ranking of. Killer Recant, just not enough evidence. He's another player who, for a while, he looked like he was going to come out and be one of the top contenders for NA, but he just disappeared off the 1v1 scene not long after, so I couldn't put him in here. Just not enough evidence like a lot of other players. Right, the next row, how would I want to structure this one? I think I would want to have Rottweiler just squeaked in here, I think. And I think the NA trio, I would have it like this. I would have it like Squishy, Lachinio, Miho. But because Mektos and First Killer have done a lot more, they've had basically so much domination in recent NA tournaments. I think that I would put those two ahead like this. ahead of the, you know, the old NA 1v1 gods. Because they've kind of had a similar thing. Like, all these guys in the S tier have struggled against the very best, but they've had, you know, they've done a lot of damage and been like they've been very respected. But yeah, I'd probably like do this order for these three. They're all very close, Squishy, Miho, and Lachinio. You know, Gambit deserves S+. Like I said before, it would just be guesswork. Because besides like one match that he played against Kronovi and a series that he did against Scrub, I've literally never seen any footage of Gambit. I don't have enough evidence for me to put him in a list here. Alright, the next row, I would probably put OSM further on the right hand side of this one. I think K-Dop would be the easiest to move up. He would be closest to S+. And then probably Devo would be the next closest to S+. They're both like pretty close, or S++ rather. I think Flores is probably the farthest on the right, and then OSM would be next to him. It's just Ixo or Ocelon. Who would be where? That's a really tough one, actually. Ixo or Ocelon. I think I'd maybe give it to Ixo. Just put him right here beside Devo. That's how I would do that one. Ixo's recently beaten Fairy as well as beating Scrub. He's beaten both of them recently. No Pashi. He's the same boat as Gambit and Mike Rules and other like old like beastly 1v1 players. They just don't have any tournament evidence. So I made this list based on like tournament performances, not like you know, oh, I heard this guy beat this guy in a private match one time. Oh, I beat this guy in ranked. You know, like, you can't really be making lists like that, in my opinion. Okay, in terms of who is most likely to go up to S+, or from S++ to GOAT, I think Cuxer is the closest one to making the jump up. Kronovi, Flakes, Lethimer are definitely on the right-hand side here. I think I would do it like this. Cuxer, Dapper, Marky, and then probably Lethimer, Flakes, Kronovi. This is how I would rank this. And then as for the GOATs, okay, this is the hardest decision, not gonna lie. Who would I rank ahead? Fairy or Scrub? Huh. Do a poll? Okay. Okay, let's see what Twitch chat thinks. Who is the GOAT? Fairy or Scrub? I need to make a screen region here. Give me a second. Oh, there it is. It's hidden away at the back. I was wondering where it was. I'll put it on top here. Okay, there's the temporary screen region visible. Now, go ahead and vote there. I'm going to click on results and see who you guys think is the GOAT. So Fairy definitely winning this. And I do wonder how much of that is due to his head-to-head record against Scrub. So let's just really break this one down. Scrub was dominant before Fairy was. They were probably both considered the best 1v1 player on the planet for around about the same time, because Scrub came around way before Fairy, but Fairy was considered best for much longer after Scrub, after he overtook Scrub rather. Fairy has the head-to-head record, so that definitely goes in his favor. Scrub has the tournament wins, and in terms of actual, you know, cumulative show match victories, they're both super close. I think they both have very, very similar show match win records, if I'm not mistaken. It's got to be super close. So I guess it goes down to which thing do you think is more impressive? The Fairy Peak beating Scrub several times head to head, or Scrub beating him when it matters and winning 12 Titans Year 2 and the Manfield Night 5K? That's the only difference. I don't know. They're super close. They really are. This is really, really tough decision. I mean, I guess, I think if I had to choose, it would probably be Fairy. Because although Scrub did beat Fairy in 2 big tournaments, those were close matches. However, some of the head-to-heads have been absolute blowouts in favor of Fairy. So maybe that's like the logic I would use to put Fairy ahead of him. But it is so close. And like I said earlier, you know, a lot of people were saying Marky GOAT status, Cuxer GOAT status, OGs like Pashi, Gambit GOAT status. You know, I just don't think anyone, even if we did use ranked as a contributing factor for this, and even if we did use like hearsay and I heard that, you know, this guy said that so and so is the best player, even if we did use a lot of really subjective factors, I still don't think anybody would come close to Scrub and Fairy. How is Leth S++? Okay, so I'll do a really quick summary of my list here. The GOATs, obviously, they're just miles ahead of everybody else in what they've done in 1v1 competitive. S++ players have all been the best at some point. Everybody in that list at some point you could say and make a really good case for it that they are the best 1v1 player. And you know, for different lengths of time, with different levels of domination, but they were at some point the best. And in Kronovi's case, yes, he's been like, he's played a lot more and lost a lot more than the other guys, but that's because the other guys, when they're not playing at their best, they kind of just didn't take show matches, but Kronovi did, so I didn't really use that against him. I don't think we should really use that against Crow. The fact that he's willing to play people when he knows he's probably going to lose. Other players in the list, if they had done that, I'm sure they would have lost a lot as well, if they were as willing for the challenge. My S+ tier are players who have been a consistent threat to the best players in the world at some point in time, but never been the best player in the world themselves. My players in S tier have had very noteworthy wins, but haven't been consistent threats, or haven't done as much damage to the very, very top guys as the S+ guys have. A tier, those are guys with notable wins and pretty consistent results. They've got positive win rates, most of them. I think all of them actually have positive win rates in matchups against other players in the tier list. B are guys who have not got positive win rates, like Rettles, for example, has done pretty poorly on stream. The Car's done pretty poorly on stream. Forky's done well on stream, but poorly in tournaments. Sharif's done okay on stream, but poorly in tournaments. Sebedam, even though he was really great back in the day in ranked and in private matches, couldn't transition that into show matches until later on when he started getting wins. Monkey Moon, very recent addition to the 1v1 show match scene, so he hasn't done enough to rank up any higher. And then C tier are guys who have, in Rani and Lineblaze's case, they've just racked up a lot of show matches, and they, what do you call it? They've just not had enough success in them, so they have to be C. They're just really, they've had quite a lot of losses. And 1v1 tournaments as well. Show matches and tournaments, they've both recently been doing pretty poorly in. Turbo and Jesse have beaten Scrub and Fairy respectively, and then had pretty poor results against everybody else. And Sathu and Ahmad just, I think, had enough matchups to merit them being here. Ahmad mostly because he's done that with high ping as well. I did take that into consideration. But yeah, that's my breakdown of the list. I think that it's a list that I'm pretty happy with. I put a lot of thought into it. I put a lot of time into it. And if you, I'm sure that different people would come up with extremely different looking lists. If you gave them, a lot of time to think about it and they chose their own criteria. But this is my one, and like it or leave it. It's not going to change. Well, actually, it will change, but not today. But it will change maybe a year from now. a brief old school notables list. Well, old school notable players who did not quite make it because there's just not enough evidence of competitive, good competitive results are Pashi, Mike Rules, Gambit. I don't know if there's anyone else that I just didn't put in here. Yeah, actually, Gibbs, Doomsy, they used to be really competitive at a time. In private matches and ranked, but just not in competitive. This is a competitive oriented list. Yeah, Killer Eakin's just one of those players. He just kind of popped. He showed up for a while, looked like he was going to be really great, and actually had some great results. But then he just kind of disappeared. So I don't know where he went. He just disappeared, and that's why I can't put him in here. Just didn't have enough results. He didn't have a long enough stay of performance. Torix actually beat Pashi on stream once, but that was his only big result ever. That he got, at least in tournaments that I'm aware of. Maybe there's tournaments that I've forgotten about, or maybe there's tournaments that I wasn't aware of happening. And maybe if people showed me that and said, "Oh, did you remember this?" I'd be like, "Oh, I forgot that," and I'd maybe change a position or two. But I think overall this is a pretty fair ranking. Yeah, Jesse beat Fairy Peak. He's one of the few people to ever beat Fairy Peak on stream. Yeah, Maestro's on here. He's in the A tier, second or just right of the center. But yeah, I suppose just to finish off here, before we head offline, because I'm going to be heading offline here. I might be streaming again later, but yeah, I'm going to head offline for now because I have to go and do some stuff. But might be online again later. I certainly want to be. But yeah, just to summarize the list, at the top we got Fairy Peak, Scrub Killer, then an S++ from left to right is Cuxer, Dapper, Marky, Lethamir, Flakes, and Kronovi. In S+, we've got K-Dop, Devo, Ixo, Ocelon, OSM, and Floris. S, obviously, is First Killer, Mectos, then Squishy, Lachinio, Miho, and Rottweiler. A is Taroko, Bluey, Alpha, Maestro, AJ, and Com. B is the Car, Forky, Monkey Moon, Sebaram, Rattles, and Sharif. And C is Turbo Pulsar, Rani, Sathu, Jesse, Lion Blaze, and Ahmad. So that's just in case you didn't know who any of the pictures were. That is the bit that you need to watch.